again. Welcome to Abridge Village Church for this week's reflection and song. It's for Sunday, the 7th of November. I'm Martin, I'm the pastor here at the church. We're coming to the end now of our journey through Mark's Gospel, looking at the stories of Jesus, at the amazing and wonderful things he said and did. Today's story is the last one before Mark starts telling us about the events of Holy Week and Easter. But with Advent and Christmas now on the horizon, we'll keep those for another time. I wonder whether you like people watching. You know what I mean. Just sitting on a bench somewhere and watching people go by. Or maybe sitting on the bus or the tube and wondering about the people in front or the ones opposite you. They're all people just like you and me, full of similar thoughts and worries, with a history of experiences and with a future of hopes, but also maybe fears. People are fascinating. Each one is unique and special. It's what we believe as Christians, that each one of us is infinitely special and valuable to God. In today's story, Jesus was people watching. After several tricky conversations with the leaders in the temple courts, as recorded in chapter 12 of Mark, Jesus then sits down and watches as different people go over to the money collection points around the courtyard to drop in their donations towards the work of the temple. Now, these collection points looked a bit like the mouths of trumpets set into the walls, and you could hear the money rolling into them and on down into the boxes which were out of sight. You could hear who put more coins in. And Jesus noticed that some people definitely wanted their large donations to be heard. Their giving wasn't done in secret. Elsewhere in the Bible, we read that God looks not on the outward appearance, but on the heart. And it was people's hearts that Jesus actually saw when he was people watching that day. And sadly, it was some of the religious leaders who clearly wanted to be noticed. They wore their long prayer robes in public. They sat in the most important seats. They said the loudest prayers. And at this point in the story, they gave the biggest donations. But surely that was a good thing. Charities are always after money, and the temple authorities did much good with their money. But Jesus was interested in people's motivation. Were these donors just thinking about how others would benefit from their giving? Or was it more about bolstering their own importance and their standing in the community? They were giving their money, but they definitely wanted the t-shirts that proclaimed that any good done was sponsored by them. But then, says Mark, Jesus noticed someone else coming to give money, who did it in quite a different way. She wasn't rich and she wasn't important. She's described as a widow. And in those days, widows were totally dependent on others for their survival. There was no social security or benefit system to look after them. Like blind Bartimaeus earlier in Mark's story, or the little children whose mothers brought them to Jesus, the widows were the unnoticed ones, the last and the least, the ones no one else cared about. But these are just the ones who didn't go unnoticed by Jesus. There wasn't much noise when the widow's 2 small coins dropped into the collection box. And perhaps only Jesus heard the faint rattle as they disappeared into the wall. And once again, Jesus surprised everyone when he said this: "This widow has given far more than the large amounts given by all the others." What? Why? Well, surely it was because she gave her gift with all her heart, and she gave all she had. It wasn't her spare cash thrown in to make a big noise for the sake of being noticed. It was all she had to live on. It was an act of faith and trust in the God she was giving to, trusting that God would look after her. As so often with Bible stories, even the shortest, we find all we need here to help us in our day-to-day lives. It's what's on the inside that matters, because it's what is in our hearts that God sees. The biggest donations, the grandest gestures of faith are useless if they do not come from our heart. Our loudest prayers and our best public service are worthless if we're not putting our lives on the line, like this widow, with complete trust in God. And maybe too, there's something more in this story. Jesus says that she put her whole life in, and that's what counted. And very soon, in the next chapters, we will see Jesus doing just that for each one of us, pouring out his life with complete trust in God, so that we might find forgiveness and a new beginning because of what Jesus did at Easter for each one of us. I wonder what you'll be giving this week and how you'll be giving it.